Hello guys, welcome. It's the super blue moon today. It's the end of August and these readings are all going to be for the following month. So I'm going to be pulling cards. I'm going to use Oracle and Tarot. I'm going to be getting energy for your current energy from an Oracle, and then I'm going to read a 6-card reading. It's going to be past, present, future. The energies that are available to you at the moment, your blocks and restrictions, and also some advice from your guides or your higher self or the universe. I'm going to work through the signs in order. This will be the intro to all the signs, so I'll pop this on the beginning of each one so you don't have to root through and try and find your reading on all signs. Yeah, I think that's it really. Let's just dig in, shall we? These will be released over the coming couple of days. So by the beginning of September, hopefully everyone will have their readings. I'm just cleansing the space at the moment. So I've got some beautiful incense burning. And I'm just gonna make sure all the cards are cleansed. And then I'm going to use the tincture bells just to knock any of the old energy out of the cards. I'll just use whichever deck I'm drawn to. Quite often it's the Bonestone and Earthflesh tarot is my favourite. I always get really nice clear reads from those. And for the oracles, quite often I use the Wonderland oracle deck. In fact, I'll just show you those. So that's the Wonderland Oracle deck, and the beautiful Bonestone and Earthflesh Tarot, which is my fave. But I will link them anyway and let you know if I use any different ones. I do like the Tarot Mystical Moments as well, so we'll see where we go with it. Being brave and doing this on the super blue moon in Pisces. A little emotional, so hopefully I'm quite open to the messages that want to come through for you guys. And yeah, let's begin, shall we? Moving on to Gemini next. Welcome, Geminis. This is for the sun, moon and rising signs and any other placements that you have in your chart if you're aware of those. I'm just going to use the tincture bells, so protect your ears if you're sensitive, just to cleanse the energy from the cards from the last reading. And again, that's more like it. Okay. We're going to start with an oracle card from the Alice the Wonderland deck, and this is going to be for your overall energy for the following month. Quite often I pull a card with the Oracle deck at the end of the reading and it just sort of sums it all up in one go. And I thought, you know what, it might be handy to have that at the beginning to give me a little more direction. So for the Gemini collective, please, can we have a card for overall energy for September? These cards are massive. They're quite tough to shuffle sometimes. That's my Eddie boy in the background. He's obviously seen something out the window. For the Gemini collective, please, can we have a card, an overall energy? There we go. Nature communication. Okay. So what number is that? 37. Flower energies, fairy energies, elemental energies. Funnily enough, I'm sure when I last did your readings, did we get something similar about animals, or was that Virgo? I'm not sure why I've got those two in my mind. So I'm going to read this from the book. With this card, Alice thinks that because the flowers are, well, flowers, that they cannot speak, reason or communicate. They are not like her, and therefore she thinks they cannot ever understand or connect with her. Alice assumes the same applies in the opposite direction, but to her surprise, the flowers in the world through the looking glass can speak, and they are very critical, very picky and very aware of their choices. While they also make assumptions, thinking Alice to be a flower like them, yet unlike them, they reveal that most of the time they do not speak because they feel there simply isn't anybody worth talking to. Worth talking to, perhaps because she has praised their beauty and simply wished to be able to communicate. She also has humility and a desire to understand. When this card comes to you, do not make assumptions about people, creatures or beings who seem too different for you to communicate with. There is always a way to bridge the gap between us. If you request for these beings to speak with you and stay open to the possibility, there will be communication. This is especially important when working with the plant kingdom, trees and flowers, elementals and fairy energy. Be a person worth communicating with. Open your heart and mind and express your desire. In that way, new bonds and cords of understanding can grow between the human world and the wonders all about us. So that's a very interesting one. So I'm just going to connect with the card and see if I get anything else through. So you've been asked to be more open, non-judgmental, maybe. I wonder if there's a little bit of... I'm feeling a little bit of sadness actually in this card. Not overwhelming, just a hint. Which makes me feel like on the outside looking in at times, it could be that you've pulled your communication a little bit because you feel like, what's the point, that no one's listening or no one understands me properly. But of course, if we do that, we don't allow others in, and we make it very hard for other people to start to connect with us. So that's sort of what I'm feeling here. And she's actually peering through, and she has a little bit of, I don't know, are you maybe feeling homesick in a way as far as where are my people? Where are the people that resonate with me or that I sort of fit in with? I think this is asking you to maybe open up again. And we are all different, and that's one of our amazing traits, that we're all unique. So you may find uniqueness in others, not in a way that separates them from you, but allows you to connect because you are also different. Yeah, I think that's the message coming through there. And the theme for the month. So I'm going to pull from the tarot deck now. I'm going to pull past, present, future, and then we're going to look at the energies available to you and also the crossing energies, which is any blocks or restrictions that you might have, Gemini. Then we're going to get some advice from your guides. Ooh, okay, advice from your guides, I said, and they came out. Wow, bizarre. They are actually cards from the last reading, all three. Now I've cleansed the cards. Funnily enough, have you got some fire energy in your around you at the moment? Some maybe a Leo or a Sagittarius? So I'm going to take these as your current energy. It's just bizarre that they were cards from the last reading. It feels like your different energy coming through on these though. I'll show you the cards. I'm getting a completely different thing to how I got the reading, the cards through on the last readings, but I'm feeling currently like you might be craving some nurturing of some kind. But also that you may be a little defensive of it when it comes towards you. And you could actually be blocking yourself from receiving that, or not giving yourself enough nourishment in the areas you need to. And the Ten of Swords with some kind of an ending coming to this period of defensiveness. Linked in with the nature communication card, I'm feeling like you have shut yourself down to an extent, and that makes it so the energies that you might crave and want to come into your life are sort of being blocked a little bit there. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this already, because there's also an ending to this sort of cycle as well. I'm going to pull some more cards to get some more clarification. So we're going with the past energy now. It was, just as I said, energy from your guides that came through. There is a lot of cards coming out for you. Okay, so another 3 cards. You've got the 2 of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the 5 of Cups here. In order. Hang on a minute. In that order for the camera. So from this, I feel like you, in the past, we pull past energy so that you can get an idea on what's led you here. Also, it can be some kind of guidance. So if you're in a situation currently and you've maybe been in a similar situation in the past or felt certain ways in the past with another experience, it can pull your attention to it to say, what did you do then? How did you work through it then? Was it good? Was it bad? Do you use that again? You know, have you got the tools already? Or it can just be, this is what's led you to where you are. So from these 3 cards, I'm getting that it feels frantically were trying to create somewhere stable. You almost like feels like building a nest, or well, the spider's weaving his web on this one. A lot of juggling, a lot of energy spent trying to create something. We've got the King of Cups. I'm wondering if this is relating to a person specifically, a love interest, or whether it's you were coming from a real place of love, trying to create a stable home, somewhere where people could feel safe. And then we've got the 5 of Cups, which is sort of like a heavy disappointment over it. It could be that you were putting a lot in to create something, but it was all one way. And there was some disappointment over how it turned out. Because there's a sense of loss here. And with the King of Cups being in the middle, it seems to revolve around love, or coming from a place of the heart, whether that was you were trying to provide this and create this from the heart for others, or for a family unit, or just for yourself. But it feels like there's some loss in there, of some sadness around how that worked out in the past. So, if you've had some disappointment and some loss, some grief even over a situation in the past, then it would make sense that now you have found yourself in a place where you've closed off a little bit. But you're still craving the nurturing that you need. And somehow it feels like your defences are up a little bit, or you're struggling to move forward with it. Yeah, it could be that you're struggling to move forward in the direction, and or maybe finish something out, close a cycle, or step away from someone that's making you feel defensive, possibly. Only because we've got the king in the past here. I'm going to continue to pull cards, see if we still get threes coming out. We've got lots of cards coming out from you. So your future position, we're only going through September, so this won't be distant future, but we might run on into October a little bit. Future card. A future card for Gemini, please. There was obviously more that needed to come out to show me this sort of story. We've got the Seven of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. So I feel like you're going to be coming out of a place where you've been putting a lot of work in, and constantly giving yourself and your energy to something, to try and nurture something into existence, or create something stable. I think you may be, I'll have to pull the rest of the card, but I feel a little bit like you're going, you know what? I'm done here. No, it's all me. I keep putting in, and maybe through September, maybe that's the time that you sort of take your hands off the wheel. You come to the end of this cycle with the Ten of Swords being here in your present energy. It could be that you decided to put an end to this cycle, because I'll have to pull the rest of the cards, but I feel like you've given and given and given, and you're not getting the what's the word? Reciprocity? The feedback in equal doses. Okay, we're going to go with what the energy that is available to you. Maybe the nature communication card we got at the beginning is calling you to connect with nature more, and find that nurturing for yourself through your own sort of beliefs and things. Okay, so 2 cards came out that. I'm going to pull the last card as well, your guidance, because it might give me a little bit more clarification. Well, for a quick 7 card read, this is turning. We've got another 2 cards. So for your position of the energy that's available, you have Justice, which I think is really beautiful to have in this position, because finally you can tap into the energy of, I am getting an equal give and take now. I'm only giving what I'm getting, or it's not always got to be a battle. I haven't got to see this as a battle that I've got to keep putting in and keep spending energy and time on when I'm not getting the equal exchange. And there is also a little bit of peacemaker in there as well. And that could be making peace with yourself. The duality of this is really interesting with you being Gemini as well. You could have been trying to wear many hats. And maybe none of them were for you, maybe none of them were your hat that you wanted to wear. But yeah, the energy around you that is available, if you can tap into it, is balance, finding a nice balance for yourself, of warrior and peacemaker, and I'm getting some justice in going forward, I think, for you, or what you feel is just and fair, you know, fairness. Now, what's blocking that is the Wheel of Fortune. So currently, what I think is blocking this feeling of everything being just and fair is this ending, I think, that hasn't quite taken place. You've got to end something, I think, because the Wheel of Fortune, it can mean good fortune coming in and the wheel sort of turning in your favour, which would make sense with the Justice card, but with it being in your blocks and restrictions, is it a belief that you don't feel that that's possible, maybe? They seem quite peacefully weaving all the elements behind the scenes to create something. Because quite often I'd say with the Wheel of Fortune there are things going on in the background, universal things that are happening that aren't allowing you to move on, that like a lesson hasn't quite been learnt yet with it being in the blocks. So I do believe that you need to start lowering your defences, which I think this is what you're working on at the moment, because I put them in order for the camera. Hopefully they are in order for the camera. Lowering defences, nurturing yourself, and putting an end to some kind of cycle that you know isn't the other way around, isn't it? Putting an end to a cycle that hasn't been fulfilling you. And I think once that lesson's learned, the wheel will turn and you'll find yourself not sort of spinning on the outside of the wheel with other people sort of controlling, manipulating what's happening around you. You'll take your own sovereignty back. You'll learn what you need to do. And then you'll sit in the middle of the wheel where you can observe from that place as things move around you, but you're not thrown with it. So the centre of the wheel is where you want to be. As good old Crappy Chris's tarot says. Mr. Minnow Pond. I like his definition of that. You want to be in the middle of the wheel, because the middle of the wheel allows you to sit steady, grounded, observe, see as things are happening, go with the flow, but not be on the outside where someone else's actions or circumstances might change and that throws you. So yeah, currently I think you're being spun around a little and you need to try and tap into the energy of fairness and justice and observe things for what they are. Now your guidance. Moving on to Karma Shores, the Six of Swords and the Five of Wands. So this is guidance from your higher self, the universe, your ancestors, or your spirit guides. Wherever your beliefs lie, this will be from that place. It's asking you to move away from conflict. So the Five of Wands is often talks of arguments and conflict and things like that. It can be internal conflicts. Follow your star and head off to calmer waters. And it's not easy. It's not an easy path. It's choppy there at the beginning, but as you can see in the distance, she's willing to go for the choppy waters to get to the calmer water. In the original Rider-Waite deck, there's a lady and a child, I think, in a boat, and there's a guide in the boat, and it represents your guide. leading you away to something calmer. So I do feel like you've got to follow your star here. Follow your truth, your inner knowing, what you know is right for you, and move away from any kind of conflict. It could also be the Five of Wands isn't always conflict and arguments. It can be like challenges and learning through training. So this could be a lesson for you. It does feel like lesson packed, this reading does, if I'm honest, especially with that Wheel of Fortune and your blocking position. I just feel like there's something not quite finished out here that you need to be aware of, and then you can make these moves. That's how I'm feeling for this. That you know the Five of Wands can be healthy competition as well. It could almost be challenging yourself to rise above anything that's negative around you. You might see a repeating pattern. So if you look back to where I was saying here about, you know, frantically trying to create something, but it was a little bit lopsided and you were juggling everything all the time. This character here, I'm not sure if you were coming from a place of love doing it, or whether this was a partner or you know, an outside source of some kind, and the disappointment around it, the sadness around it. So I do feel that shut you down or made you a little bit more guarded. So you may be able to look back to that and go, this is a pattern. Actually, I keep choosing this. And that's maybe the lesson here, because what you want is to tap into the energy that is available, which is this really just, fair, balanced justice. Okay guys, that's it for you lot Gemini. I will catch up with you next time. I hope that helps. Bye bye.